In this video, we're going to be looking at what probably is the ultimate space-saving monitor by Samsung. So my current monitor is a Samsung ultra-wide 34-inch display, and I absolutely love using it. It's brilliant for applications like Final Cut Pro because you get so much space on the screen. But it does take up quite a lot of space on the average desk. So the measurement from the front of the screen to the wall is actually 26 centimeters. And it gets worse because if you measure from the front of the actual stand, the foot that it sits on, it's actually 31 centimeters. So I'm fortunate because I've got I've got the wider IKEA desk, and so therefore it's not so much of an issue for me. But if you need to maximize all that space in front of the monitor, then you may want to consider this monitor from Samsung. So this is the 32-inch 4K space monitor from Samsung. Now this is designed to not only give you a great image, but with this stand which hooks onto the back of the desk, it's designed to retain as much of that desk space as possible, which works brilliantly if you're in an office environment, for instance, where space is at a minimum. The setting up is really simple. You literally just push the stand into the back of the actual display, and then there's just 4 screws which you need to screw in. Now the connections on the back are fairly limited. There is only one HDMI port and one mini display port, which is a little bit disappointing because this does feature things like picture-in-picture, and so therefore having a second HDMI would be ideal. There's also just a single button on the back which doubles up as a joystick, which helps you navigate through the various different menu options. Now ideally you'll connect this via HDMI because the HDMI cable which comes with the monitor has a splitter on the end, and so therefore it doubles up as the power connector as well. So you literally only have one wire servicing to the back of the monitor, and then it runs down this cable management system, which again is very neat. Okay, so I've set this monitor up on my smaller desk, and as you can see, I think it looks pretty good. One thing to mention, guys, is it does sit quite high. It's actually 2 feet from top to bottom, so that's something which you may want to bear in mind. But the amount of space that you retain on your desk is brilliant. That stand there, that little grip which hooks around the desk, that is just 9 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. So literally, you're getting masses of space. And as you can see here, you can tilt and bring forward the monitor, so therefore you've got all of those options to bring it closer to you if you need to. So the success of this monitor really comes down to the rigidness and the robustness and the quality of the arm that the monitor sits on. Now one thing to also bear in mind, guys, is that you cannot use any other mount with this monitor, so it's not VESA compatible, so therefore you do have to use this arm, but it is exceptionally well made. It feels very strong, it holds any position very well, and you certainly don't feel that it's going to slip or lower or cause you any issues at all. Another feature that I really like is that if you have it in this type of position, it makes it brilliant for working while standing. So those of you that are considering getting a standing desk, well, maybe you could just have a monitor like this, angle it differently, and you'll have the same result. So although it's absolutely fine to use this monitor in its backward upright position, therefore giving you as much desk space as possible, I think this monitor comes into its own when you bring it forward. So I've been using it for Final Cut, for Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom, and having it close, working up close to it, has been an absolute joy. It does feel like you're a lot closer than what it would be normally, but it means that you can go into the detail and really pinpoint exactly what you want to do. Now it is important to say that this monitor hasn't been professionally color calibrated, so if you are looking for some very accurate colors, then you may want to look at an alternative. But having that option for that space on the desk, operating a laptop, maybe as a dual screen in the background having the monitor, then this is absolutely brilliant. So other things you need to be aware of is the response time. It's 4 milliseconds, which is great. It does only have a refresh rate of 60 Hz. It would have been great to have seen 100 Hz, but again, you're unlikely to get all of these things on a monitor which costs just over £400 or $400. So don't get me wrong, guys, this thing definitely lacks some things. It lacks that Thunderbolt 3, it lacks USB-C, but are you going to be using those for this function? I think that if you're in an office environment and it's mainly the space saving that you're after, well then this is probably going to be enough for you, and you're not going to worry too much about the things that it doesn't have. I would love to see the same monitor but with all of those things added, and I wouldn't mind paying a little bit more for it. Guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments box below whether this is something that you would consider, or is it just lacking the essentials that you need. Thanks as always, my friends, for watching this video, and I really do look forward to seeing you on the next one.